The night I turned 29, the ocean outside the glass wall looked black and expensive. Then my grandmother's voice cut through the clink of champagne like a shard of ice. "Tell me, Celeste, have you decided what to do with the 5 million I left you when you turned 26? I laughed, because surely this was the joke portion of the evening. It wasn't. Every face at the long table froze mid-smile. My mother's champagne flute trembled so hard the bubbles died. My stepfather's tan turned the color of old paper. Grandmother simply sipped her martini and waited, the way only people who have never needed anything can wait. That was the moment I learned my entire adult life had been a paid performance. My name is Celeste Marlowe. I grew up in a Seattle suburb of cedar and silence, where questions about money were answered with tighter smiles. I ran south to Portland the day I turned 18, put myself through design school on night shifts and credit cards, and learned to live in a studio so small the bathtub doubled as a couch. My mother, Delphine, and her husband, Grant, lived 40 minutes north in a lakefront compound that, it turned out, had been bought with my bloodline. 3 weeks before that dinner, the agency I'd bled for laid off half the creative team. I came home to find my power shut off for the second time that year. When I called Mom, voice cracking, she sighed the way people do when the barista spells their name wrong. "Things happen, darling." Where the Emerald Silk Saturday, Canlis 8 sharp. Grant booked the private room overlooking the water. I went because disappearing would have been louder than any scene I could make. Grandmother's arrival was unannounced and biblical. 1 minute the table was polite lies and forced laughter. The next she was there in midnight velvet, cane tapping like a gavel. 10 minutes later we were locked inside a side room that smelled of cedar and consequences. Her attorney, a woman with the calm of a sniper, laid out color-coded folders like autopsy photos. A lodge in Sun Valley. A sailboat moored in Friday Harbor. A vineyard in Woodinville that produced exactly 0 bottles of wine and millions in tax write-offs. All registered in my name. All empty. Mother tried tears first. Grant tried excuses about temporary liquidity events. Grandmother lifted one finger, and the room went corpse quiet. "Return the keys, Delphine." Every single one. The ring that landed on the table held more metal than my mother's heart ever had. I closed my fist around them and felt the edges bite, my first honest sensation in years. They left the restaurant in separate cars, security shadows at their heels. Grandmother touched my cheek with fingers cool as river stones. "The choice to ruin them completely is yours, Celeste. I've already ruined them enough." I didn't sleep for 4 days. When we met again in her downtown penthouse, the view swallowed half the city. My mother and Grant sat on a sofa that cost more than my entire childhood, and looked like children waiting for a scolding. The forensic accountant recited their sins in the tone people use to read grocery lists. Aspen ski lease, 12 seasons. The wellness retreat in Costa Rica that was actually a villa purchase. Mother's silent partnership in a Bellevue surgery clinic that specialized in faces that never aged and consciences that never grew. I listened until the numbers blurred into one long scream I never let out. Mother reached for me, diamonds flashing like panic. "We were protecting you from yourself, darling. You were always so reckless." I looked at the woman who taught me hunger was a personality trait, and said very softly, "Reckless is stealing from your daughter while sending her $50 birthday checks." Grandmother didn't smile. She simply nodded to the attorneys. They lost everything that wasn't nailed down and some things that were. They moved into a 2-bedroom in Tacoma that smelled of mildew and consequences. I kept the Sun Valley Lodge. I stood on its deck at dawn, snow burning gold, and felt my spine grow back one vertebra at a time. My best friend Rowan helped me haul a thrift store desk up 5 flights to my old Portland studio the week I decided never to need rescuing again. We painted the walls the exact green of new money and danced until the neighbors complained. Some mornings I still wake up counting the ceiling cracks out of habit. Some nights I walk the lodge's silent halls just to hear my own footsteps echo like proof. But most days I design from a window that looks out on mountains I own. Drinking coffee I never have to share. The keys to everything they took hang from a single hook by the door. Small, ordinary, deafening. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who doesn't rob you blind while telling you to be grateful for the dark. If you've ever smiled while someone picked your pockets, keep watching. The moment you stop smiling is the moment you start winning.